Oh, yeah.
terminology.
Thanks. Thanks, Tricia. Yeah, we're actually, our main goal here is actually to join the quilting party. We used that term, a few years ago, but that's a good sign when people use the same terminology. And today I'm less focused on driving adoption and more focused on finding collaborators. So I'd love to, if you see an intersection with what we're doing, I would love to talk to you. A few areas I've already kind of been taking notes here as I've watched these presentations. But I think it's all about where do we sequence. The problems are so vast. I think the sequencing of where we interface and how we work together is going to be the biggest challenge over the next few months. So hopefully we can get those dialogues going really, really quickly. You all know the problem here. We've been looking at this for, in our team anyway, for about 15 years when we first started processing the full Twitter fire hose back probably, that was actually 2008 or 2009. And we kind of watched as, building on the layers of decentralized network protocols for TCP IP and then the web, we saw people were constructing these graphs, but yet private companies own the graph, own the networks, and that was incredibly problematic even back then. And obviously we watched now over a decade as those network effects led to consolidation of power, et cetera. So we definitely have a concern that's been rising, and we think that now with agentic AI, the disruption we're seeing is both, somebody has earlier said, very concerning and very exciting at the same time. We think it's the first opportunity to really break through these models that we've seen in a long time, to actually kind of insert some new infrastructure. At the same time, if nothing happens in favor of humans at this point, we see an acceleration of power consolidation that's going to basically be a lot worse than what we've seen to date. So we think there needs to be some sort of kind of human context protocol. And just like the quilting terminology, I just found today, some of my staff sent me that some folks have written a paper on human context protocol, two of which are in our alliance at Project Liberty. So clearly this is in the air and in the water. And so we're just looking for other collaborators here to work on the kind of human interface. So when I started thinking about projecting how these agents will work, it's pretty obvious that the agent-to-agent communication will be orders of magnitude higher frequency than agent-to-human communication. That said, the human-to-agent communication will be the very critical part. I think a lot of people will be like your own chairman of your own board. You won't have time to make microsecond level decisions, millions of decisions in short periods of time. Your agents will do that. You'll need to basically have control over what they're generally doing and some kind of general governance over the agents that interface with you, which will be a tiny fraction of the agents working. So that's what we're focused on. A lot of protocols focus on key elements of this, just how do agents communicate with each other, A2A or MCP for data, but there needs to be something that's really focused on the human element and the human control. So we focus on a few aspects of this. And the first is we firmly believe, after looking at this for over a decade, that there needs to be a shared state layer. Some of that can be federated, some of that can be peer-to-peer, but we do think there needs to be some common shared state. Raise your hand here if you use Google or Apple to log in. Do you guys use, anybody not use a login like that? I mean, it's a pretty small group. I know Dave doesn't, yeah. So, the problem we have here is most people, their digital existence starts with a kind of corporate kind of representation of you, and you only have access to a small fraction of the data they have, and you only have rights over limited aspects of the data. So we believe there should be a shared state layer that starts with you, and then you can delegate and revoke access to your data, and that's where it kind of opens up a few key areas of axes of kind of control points. So there's 4 areas we focus on with this. We focus on identity, we focus on the social layer because that's where the powerful network effects exist. We focus on the software that's employed, and that's the portable context. And then the 4th piece is the economics. So that's kind of the key areas of focus of our work. Obviously, that's a massive surface area, so we're trying to sequence all this work. And so that's why I'm hoping today we can just start to identify some places to explore work with all of you. I should mention we already have a fairly large kind of installed base for a Web3 project. We have a few million people on chain. We just pulled all of Blue Sky onto frequency recently as well. That's another 8.5 million active people going to mainnet this week. And so we already have a base that's large for Web3, but it's de minimis when you think about the entire internet and obviously social networking, et cetera. So we're hoping to find places to collaborate. We obviously see a direct connect to what NANDA is doing in a number of ways. It's listed here. You can read those yourself. But if you see what we're doing and think it's interesting, please look us up. G2's here. I'm here. We'd love to talk to you and see if there's ways to collaborate. We'll leave it there. I think I'm out of time. This is my AI version of a quilting party, by the way, with bots. So I was like, yeah.
Look how loved the quilt term is, Ramesh. You really hit it. You're in.